I was somewhere between Chicago and Frankfurt when the email came in. Airport lounge, early morning light. Coffee that tasted burnt but familiar. I remember because nothing about the moment matched the weight of the words on my screen. Your position has been terminated effective immediately. No call, no meeting, no warning. Just a clean, carefully worded paragraph signed by someone who had never once joined a client call. I didn't reread it. I didn't feel my pulse spike. I smiled, small, involuntary, almost amused, not because I was happy, because a long, quiet suspicion had finally been confirmed. I closed my laptop, finished my coffee, and boarded the plane. For years, I'd been the person sent ahead of trouble. The fixer. The one who knew which promises could be made and which ones would come back to hurt us. I didn't have the biggest title. I didn't need it. My value lived in relationships built slowly, carefully, without shortcuts. That kind of work rarely shows up on org charts. When I landed, my phone was full of automated locket notifications. Email access revoked, VPN disabled, calendar wiped clean. Efficient, impersonal. Almost respectful in its detachment. I forwarded one message to my personal account confirmation that my final paycheck would arrive in 10 business days. Then I turned my phone off. That first day wasn't dramatic. I checked into the hotel anyway. Took a walk. Ordered dinner I wouldn't expense. I felt lighter than expected, though not relieved. Mostly, I felt curious. Because something else had been sitting with me for a long time. Every major deal in motion, everyone had one thing in common. I was the continuity. When leadership changed priorities, when internal teams rotated, when legal stalled, clients didn't call the company. They called me. Not because I was charismatic, because I was honest. Because when I said, "We can't do that," I meant it. And when I said, "We will," I stayed until it was done. On the second day, my phone came back on, a missed call. Then another. Then an email, not from my former employer, but from a client's internal counsel. "We're trying to understand the change in leadership on your side." I didn't reply immediately. That wasn't strategy. That was instinct. By the afternoon, 3 different clients had reached out. Confusion threaded through every message. The same questions, phrased carefully. "Are you still involved? Should we pause? What's going on over there?" I answered honestly, briefly, professionally. I told them I was no longer with the company. I told them I couldn't speak on internal decisions. I told them I understood if they needed clarity before proceeding. I didn't tell them what to do. They decided on their own. By the 3rd day, the first deal froze, then the second, then the third. Not canceled. Not confrontational. Just paused. Legal teams stepped in. Boards asked for reassurances no one could give. 72 hours after that email, someone from my former company finally called. They sounded surprised that I picked up. There was no apology. Just concern, framed as confusion. "Clients are getting nervous," they said. "We need your help smoothing this over." I paused, not for effect, but because the moment deserved accuracy. "I don't work there anymore," I said. "I don't represent you." They reminded me of my severance, of professionalism, of bridges. I reminded them, calmly, that trust doesn't transfer with a termination notice. The call ended politely. I never raised my voice. I never demanded anything. I didn't need to. Over the next week, news traveled quietly. Not gossip, due diligence. Clients asked harder questions. Answers came slower than they were used to. Confidence eroded where familiarity had once lived. The number 380 million showed up later in an industry newsletter, not as a scandal, as a footnote. Delayed initiatives, restructuring, market uncertainty. I wasn't named. That felt right. I took some time off after that. Real time. The kind where your calendar stays empty and you relearn what a week feels like without flights in it. I thought about the parts of myself I'd outsourced to the job. The assumptions I'd made about loyalty. I wasn't blameless. I'd stayed quiet too often. Accepted sidelining because the work still mattered. Confused indispensability with security. That's on me. But I don't regret how it ended. There was no victory lap. No public reckoning. Just a series of decisions made by people who realized, too late, that integrity doesn't live in slide decks or executive summaries. It lives in people. And when you underestimate that, when you remove it without understanding what it holds together, you don't lose loudly. You lose all at once, in silence. I didn't go back. I didn't need to.